Hey everybody, hope you're doing well today. Did you know that to have a great marriage, there are some things you need to say yes to and some things you say no to? Do you know what those are? Well, hey, stick around and I'll tell you. And this I know is going to be really helpful for you and your marriage. Hey, well, welcome to the Turn It Up Marriage Tips and Tools Show. Hi, I'm Kelly, a pastor, police chaplain, marriage coach, and author of the book, Turn It Up, How to Have the Lifelong Marriage That You Really Want. You see, we need to learn how to say yes and no to each other because it establishes trust. Trust is critical to the intimacy and strength of your relationship, because if your spouse can't trust you, they're not going to want to be close to you. How do you build trust in a marriage, or how do you rebuild trust if it has been damaged? Well, one of the ways is to let your yes be yes and your no be no. Where did I learn this? This came from Jesus. And I like to call this a hidden marriage tip from Jesus. You see, Jesus gave us many direct teachings about marriage, but some of his teachings are indirect. In other words, they could be applied to a lot of different situations, but can certainly be applied to having a great marriage. Well, here's what he says in Matthew 5:37. Let your yes be yes and your no, no. For whatever is more than these is from the evil one. Well, how is this a marriage tip? Well, basically, a strong marriage is built when you say yes to some things and no to other things. You see, the yes that you said on your wedding day is followed up by lots of other yeses as you live out your commitment. And I want to encourage you to say yes to some things, to strengthening your marriage, to learning how to have the lifelong marriage that you really want, to spending time and investing in your relationship and marriage. You see, when you spend time and invest in it, but don't just work hard, but work smart, that's where the learning comes in. What's going to happen is that you're going to strengthen your marriage. And I've come to believe that being married is a skill you need to learn how to do. So I want to encourage you to say yes to your marriage by strengthening it, by learning how to have that great marriage that you really want, and then by spending the time and investment. And sometimes that investment, by the way, is financial. You know, marriage coaching isn't cheap, but it is worth it. It will really help you turn things around and strengthen your marriage, especially if you've hit a place of impasse. So I want to encourage you to say yes to strengthening your marriage, but I also want to encourage you to say yes to each other. What is this? Well, when your spouse, your husband or your wife comes and asks you to do something, say yes, if you can, okay? Say yes to each other. And then here's the key, and this is what builds trust. When you say yes, do what you say you're going to do. If your wife asks you to mow the lawn, clean the garage, I don't know, put up the Christmas lights, whatever, spend time, take her out to dinner, say yes, but then follow through and do it. Because if you don't, what you're doing is showing her that you can't be trusted, that your word is not your bond. Trust is built when you say yes and then when you do what you commit yourself to do. And here's the thing, if you don't want to do it, say no. And I would encourage you both, you and your spouse, make it okay for the other person to say no. If they don't want to mow the lawn, or if they can't, or if they, hire a gardener, or figure out some other way to get that need met. But allow yourself to say no, because if they can't say no, then they're not really saying yes. They're just being manipulated, aren't they? And then think of your response of that yes as a promise. I am making a promise that I will do what I say that I'm going to do. And then they will know that you can be trusted. And this makes them feel safe, and they're going to want to be close to you. So don't pout or get mad if he says or she says no, but instead make it okay for them to say no. Now, you need to say no to some other things too. There's some things that maybe could take priority over your marriage that you need to say no to. Some of those things are focusing on your kids too much, or on your work, or on your hobbies. Now, all of these things are good, but you need to keep them in balance. You don't want to neglect your kids. You certainly don't want to lose your job. But what you need to do, though, is learn how to say no at times and prioritize your marriage. And I've got other recordings on how to do this. And here's a thing to remember. I got this from Stephen Covey in his book, The 7 Habits for Highly Effective People. The key to saying no is to have a bigger yes burning inside of you. I'm saying no to playing golf with my friends because I'm going to spend the day with my wife or with my family, okay? Now, is it wrong to play golf? No, but just don't do it all the time. Say yes to your marriage by saying no to the other things that might distract you from that and keep it from being a priority in your life. Now, there's other things you need to say no to as well in your marriage. It's the things you don't want. Things like lying, infidelity, obviously, addictions, and of course, unhealthy influences. Making those kinds of mistakes, getting caught up in those kinds of traps. Say no to those things. Be a person of your word, a man or woman of integrity that's not going to lie, that you're choosing to say yes to faithfulness and no to infidelity, even emotional attachments that could be, or an emotional intimacy that you could have with another person. Say no to those things. Certainly saying no to addictions, because those are going to destroy your life and your marriage. And then the unhealthy people in your life that might influence you in the wrong way. Now, we all make mistakes, okay? So none of us is perfect, even me. And here's the thing. If you fail in some of these saying yes and saying no, and others you say yes and then don't do it, here's what you need to do. Don't make excuses. Instead, apologize, take responsibility, ask for forgiveness, and then here's another one. Ask for another chance. You could do it. Hey, give me another chance, please. And then prove that you can be trusted by doing what you say you will do. So let's be men and women of our word. Let your yes be yes and no be no. Build your marriage on the foundation of that, of saying yes and saying no. Hey, well, if you like this recording, be sure to like, comment, and share. If you're watching this on YouTube, be sure to hit the subscribe button right now. And if you want more, you can get a digital copy of my book, Turn It Up, How to Have the Lifelong Marriage that you really want, for only $3.75. You know what? That's less than I paid for a latte at Starbucks the other day. It's 75% off the price on Amazon. So all you're going to do is go to turnitup.coach/75. And if you would like to get some marriage coaching from me, all right, send me a direct message and make a comment and send me your email, or reach out to me on Facebook or on YouTube, whatever. Send me a direct message and I'll be glad to get back to you and we can set something up, and I'll be glad to give you a free session of some marriage coaching. I call it a clarity call. So look forward to hearing from you. Well, that's it for this episode of the Turn It Up Marriage Tips and Tools Show. Until next time, may God bless you as you turn it up. Bye-bye.